Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopichana Vallabha Girivadadari Jai Gopichana Vallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana O Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari O Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari He Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari O Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana O Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari O Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hey Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Bolo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari O Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari O Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana He Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Radha Kalachandji Radha Kalachandji Radhe Radhe. Jai Radha Kalachandji Radha Kalachandji Radhe. Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Bolo. Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe. Jai Yashoda Damodara Yashoda Damodara Radhe. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stottara Satashi Srimad His Divine Grace Shri Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stottara Satashi Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Sagaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brindaki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhanaki Shri Vrindavan Dhamaki Navadeep Dhamaki Kalachanji Dhamaki Ganga Maiki Chimuna Maiki Bhakti Deviki Tosi Maharaniki Harinam Sankirtanaki Brihat Mardangaki Prashadam Distribution Ki Shama Beda Bhakta Brindaki, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9. Chapter 9, text 1 through 15. Please go. Bolo.
Shukadeva Goswami continued. King Anshuman, like his grandfather, performed austerities for a very long time. Nonetheless, he could not bring the Ganges to this material world, and thereafter, in due course of time, he died.
Like Anshuman himself, Dilipa, his son, was unable to bring the Ganges to this material world, and he also became a victim of death in due course of time. Then Dilipa's son, Bhagiratha, performed very severe austerities to bring the Ganges to this material world.
Thereafter, Mother Ganges appeared before King Bhagirath and said, I am very much satisfied with your austerities and am now prepared to give you benedictions as you desire. Being thus addressed by Ganga Devi, Mother Ganges, the king bowed his head before her and explained his desire.
Mother Ganges replied, when I fall from the sky to the surface of the planet Earth, the water will certainly be very forceful. Who will sustain that force? If I am not sustained, I shall pierce the surface of the earth and go down to the Rasatala, the Patala area of the universe.
I'll bring it over.
O king, I do not wish to go down to the planet Earth, for there the people in general will bathe in my water to cleanse themselves of the reactions of their sinful deeds. When all these sinful reactions accumulate in me, how shall I become free from them? You must consider this very carefully.
Bhagirath said, those who are saintly because of devotional service and are therefore in the renounced order, free from material desires, and who are pure devotees, expert in following the regulative principles mentioned in the Vedas, are always glorious and pure in behavior, and are able to deliver all fallen souls. When such pure devotees bathe in your water, the sinful reactions accumulated from other people will certainly be counteracted. For such devotees, always keep in the core of their hearts the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can vanquish all sinful reactions.
Like a cloth woven of threads extending for its length and breadth, this entire universe in all its latitude and longitude is situated under different potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva is an incarnation of the Lord, and thus he represents the super soul in the embodied soul. He can sustain your forceful waves on his head.
After saying this, Bhagirath satisfied Lord Shiva by performing austerities. O King Parikshit, Lord Shiva was very quickly satisfied with Bhagirath.
Text 9. When King Bhagirath approached Lord Shiva and requested him to sustain the forceful waves of the Ganges, Lord Shiva accepted the proposal by saying, "Let it be so." Then, with great attention, he sustained the Ganges on his head, for the water of the Ganges is purifying, having emanated from the toes of Lord Vishnu.
Text 10. The great and saintly king Bhagirath brought the Ganges, which can deliver all the fallen souls to that place on earth where the bodies of his forefathers lay burnt to ashes.
Bhagiratha mounted a swift chariot and drove before Mother Ganges, who followed him, purifying many countries until they reached the ashes of Bhagiratha's forefathers, the son of Sagara, who were thus sprinkled with water from the Ganges.
Text 12. Because the songs of Sagara Maharaj had offended a great personality, the heat of their bodies had increased, and they were burnt to ashes. But simply by being sprinkled with water from the Gangas, all of them be eligible to go to the heavenly planets. What then is to be said of those who use the water of Mother Gangas to worship her?
Simply by having water from the Ganges come in contact with the ashes of their burnt bodies, the son of Sagar Maharaj were elevated to the heavenly planets. Therefore, what is to be said of a devotee who worshipped Mother Ganges faithfully with a determined vow? One can only imagine the benefit that accrues to such a devotee.
Because Mother Ganges emanates from the lotus toe of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Anantadev, she is able to liberate one from material bondage. Therefore, whatever is described here with about her is not at all wonderful.
Great sages, completely freed from material lusty desires, devote their minds fully to the service of the Lord. Such persons are liberated from material bondage without difficulty, and they become transcendently situated, acquiring the spiritual quality of the Lord. This is the glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So now we'll go to text 6. And we'll read the Sanskrit together and synonyms. Or I guess we do call and response here. Shri Bhagirato Vacha Sadavo Nashina Shanta Brahmishta Loka Pavanaha Hadanta Gyamtan Gyasangat Teshashte Yaga Biddarahi Shri Bhagirato Vacha Sadavo Nyasina Shanta Brahmishta Loka Pavana Hadanta Gyamtan Gyasangat Teshtashte Yaga Biddarahi Shri Bhagiratu Vacha Sadavo Nyasina Shanta Brahmishta Loka Pavanaha Hadantagyam Tangya Sangat Teshashte Yaga Biddarahi. Please. Okay, we'll do the synonyms together. Shri Bhagirato Vacha, Bhagirata Set, Sadhava, saintly persons, Nayasinaha, sannyasis. Shantaha, peaceful, free from material disturbances. Brahmishtaha, expert in following the regulative principles of Vedic scriptures. Lokapavanaha, who are engaged in delivering the entire world from a fallen condition. Havanti, shall remove. Agam, the reactions of sinful life. Te, of you, Mother Ganges. Anga Sangat, by bathing in the Ganges water. Teshu, within themselves. Aste, there is. He, indeed. Agabit, the Supreme Personality who can vanquish all sinful activities. The Lord. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Bhagirath said, those who are saintly because of devotional service and are therefore in the renounced order, free from material desires, and who are pure devotees, expert in following the regulative principles mentioned in the Vedas, are always glorious and pure in behavior, and are able to deliver all fallen souls. When such pure devotees bathe in your water, the sinful reactions accumulated from other people will certainly be counteracted. For such devotees always keep in the core of their hearts the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can vanquish all sinful reactions. Purport. Mother Ganges is available to everyone for bathing. Therefore, not only will sinful persons bathe in the Ganges water, but in Hardwar and other holy places where the Ganges flows, saintly persons and devotees will also bathe in the waters of the Ganges. Devotees and saintly persons advanced in the renounced order can deliver even the Ganges. I'll read that again because this is like the essence of the points being made here. Devotees and saintly persons advanced in the renounced order can deliver even the Ganges. Tirti korvanti tirtani swantashtena gadabritaha. Bhagavatam 1:13-10. Because saintly devotees always keep the Lord within the core of their hearts, they can perfectly cleanse the holy places of all sinful reactions. Therefore, people in general must always respectfully honor saintly persons. It is ordered that as soon as one sees a Vaishnava, or even a sannyasi, one should immediately offer respects to such a holy man. If one forgets to show respect in this way, one must observe a fast for that day. This is a Vedic injunction. One must be extremely careful to refrain from committing offenses at the lotus feet of a devotee or a saintly person. There are methods of prayashchitta, or atonement, but they are inadequate to cleanse one of sinful reactions. One can be cleansed of sinful reactions only by devotional service, as stated in regard to the history of Ajamil. Kechit kavalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agam dunvanti karchnena nihadam eva baskaraha. Quote, only a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. Bhagavatam 6:1-15. If one is under the protection of a devotee and sincerely renders service unto him, by this process of bhakti yoga, one is certainly able to counteract all sinful reactions. Now we'll do the Mangala Charna together. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shirupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here Mother Ganga is asking, I'll come down as you requested, King Bhagirath, but I'm scared or I'm concerned about who will relieve me from all the sinful reactions that I accrue from the conditioned souls bathing in my waters. And this verse, Bhagirath is answering. So, from the kids first, what is the answer? Anvita or Jaishnav? How will Mother Ganges be purified of the sinful reactions? Yes, he says, when the devotees bathe in her water. So this is the point that Mother Ganga, the dynasty of kings, right? I don't remember how, does anyone remember how many tried? And then like in the first verse it said, who was it? So many generations, 3 or 4, right? Tried and died. 2? Oh, 2. Third one did it. So what was their intention? Was they want to bring Ganga because they know that this is the most purifying thing that they can think of for their ancestors. So this is a great cause, right? To think of how to purify others. So one great Vaishnava in our movement, Vaisheshika Prabhu, he says there's so many great causes, but there's one great cause, supreme great cause. And what he's referring to is hearing and chanting or practicing devotional service. So these devotees, these kings that were wanting to purify their ancestors and give them the opportunity to be liberated, that was their intention, to go to the heavenly planets. And what did they come up with? They came up with Mother the Ganga, who's supremely, you can say, supremely purifying. Just like in spiritual science, there's perfect, more perfect, and most perfect, right? How is that possible? If something's perfect, it's already perfect, right? But in spiritual reality, perfection can be increased. Just like the spiritual nature is anandam buddhi vardhanam. It's an ever-increasing ocean of bliss. Already it's eternal. Already it's unlimited. And it's unlimitedly, eternally increasing the pleasure. So the purification, the purity, the perfection in spiritual reality can also go up and up and up. Just like they say that Goloka Vrindavan, what's that breakdown of the different holy places being perfect, right? And it goes to this place, this holy place, then it says the Govardhan, huh? You remember it exactly, or does anybody want to say it in the mic if they remember? Yeah, so what I'm getting at is that there's increasing empowerments by the Lord according to his desire. And so the Ganga, why in the verses it said, why is the Ganga purifying? Because it emanates from the lotus toe of the Lord. If we remember that pastime of Vamanadev. Vamanadev took 3 steps, and his 3rd step cracked the universal shell. And from the causal ocean, which is also not only did the water come from the Lord's lotus toe, but it also came from the Lord's body, right? It's explained that the causal ocean is the perspiration of the Lord. So not only that is super purifying, super spiritual, but then it went over the toe. It came from the body of the Lord. It bathed the toe of the Lord. Then what happened? It went first. Mother Ganga said, my force will be so great that I'll pierce the whole earth planet and go down to other planets. So what will you do? So Bhagirath approached Lord Shiva, who is also who's also God in a sense, is an incarnation, it said in the purport. So it came from the body of the Lord, bathed the Lord's lotus foot while coming into the universe. Then its first entrance was Lord Shiva's head. And not only that, but who is Ganga in... Well, it's like we're personalists, right? Everything has a personification, just like, Native Americans also used to, the Mother Earth and the river and the wind god. And so this is a reality, that everything has a personification, just like the whole cosmic creation emanates from the body of Lord Mahavishnu, of the Lord, and then he empowers personalities to the demigods to be in charge of all the different activities. So there's personality, there's intelligence behind every aspect, and there's also the personification of Mother Ganga. I forgot who she is in Krishna Leela. Anybody look it up on their phone if they don't know real fast so we can tell everybody? Ganga, I think, is Vishaka, one of the gopis, right? So the purifying power of Mother Ganga is unlimited, but also more purifying than that, according to Bhagirath, is the pure devotees, right? That's the most. So this is like what in the they say, the creme de la creme, the cream of the cream, right? It's already cream, but then when you, or milk is already, nutritious, but then, or delicious, but then when you boil it and make it thicker, becomes more. And when you boil the milk, and then you get the cream, and then you get, the cream of the cream. So that's what is being condensed here, is we're hearing that the most powerful thing is the devotee. Why? And why does it say in the verse that we read? Because the pure devotee, they carry the Lord within their heart. So, and then Prabhupada quotes, Tirtani Kurvanti Tirtani. Why? Because they make, wherever the holy person goes, they make that place into a holy place. Because they're carrying the Lord within their heart. Why do we come to the temple? Because it is imbued with the spiritual energy of Radha Kalachandji. We come to see the beauty of Radha Kalachandji. We come to feel the concentrated devotional energy and hear and chant together. Just like yesterday's class, my wife was appreciating the point that Manjari Gopika made about concentrated knowledge, right? So that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is. It's the essence of what we should use our intelligence for, our brain for, our senses for, is to hear about Krishna's activities and hear about Krishna's devotees. So Srimad Bhagavatam is concentrated hearing, and specifically what, like now, everybody's devotional accumulation of lifetimes of desires to want to serve Krishna is being put into the yajna. So we can read on our own, which we should do daily, right? Nityam Bhagavata Sevayo. We should do this. Prabhupada, the verse says that we should do it eternally, right? That means every moment. And then Prabhupada also said daily. Okay, so this is daily. But also we have our own, if we have time, to hear and chant. But when we come together before the deities in the temple room, it's concentrated hearing. And when we're asked, that's why I recommend everybody to speak in a group of devotees. Get that concentrated hearing and chanting. It's very purifying. Just like what I like to do when Nanda Braja asked me to give class, so I look at the verse, I read the section, then I read the purport, and then Prabhupada, as we know, Prabhupada in the purport always quotes other verses, right? Almost always. And then the more you hear, you'll hear Prabhupada, even if he's not quoting a verse directly, you can see, okay, Prabhupada's explaining something that is from a shastric shloka, from a verse. And this is the way of presenting authoritatively Krishna consciousness, right? Prabhupada said we should know his books like the lawyer knows the law books, right? When a lawyer goes to defend a case, they say what they want to justify a certain thing, and then they quote, because in the law it says in this book at this part. So the more we're acquainted with Srila Prabhupada's books, we can go not only to share with others, but also for our own application, right? Something happens in our life, we think, okay, we remember a Bhagavatam circumstance, how they dealt with it, how to react, how to apply the philosophy practically. So the main thing I wanted to focus on was that the idea of being purified from the misconception of being the temporary body is what these kings are doing. They want to bring their ancestors to a higher destination by being purified by Mother Ganga. And then Bhagirath is saying that the most purifying thing is to be in the association of devotees, pure devotees. And what does that association mean? Is that you hear their instructions. And then to the degree that we apply it in our life, we're also associating with them. Just like while I was studying for the class, one of the verses said that devotional service itself is the Lord, right? Just like we know, it said that the holy name is non-different from the Lord. So when we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So to the degree that we're wanting to spiritually connect with Krishna, to that degree, when we chant, we're connecting. Prabhupada said that Radha and Krishna are dancing on the tongue when you chant Hare Krishna. And when you read the Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of the Lord, right? So to the degree that we want to be with Krishna, to that degree Krishna, just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, as those approach me, I reward them accordingly. So similarly, how we approach the Bhagavatam, what is our intention? Do we want to get knowledge to show off? Then that's what we'll get. Do we want to please our guru? Then that's what you'll get. Do we want to, so many layers. Also there's combinations. You could have a shopping list, as we all do, of what's going on internally when we approach the Bhagavatam. But the Srimad Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of Krishna. And just like Lord Chaitanya is Radha and Krishna combined, right? And it's explained that in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada put a chapter about Lord Chaitanya, right? Does anybody remember what the chapter is called? I forgot myself. Lord Chaitanya, Life and Precepts, or the introduction? He talks about Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, he kind of, because Lord Chaitanya is the example of what it means to live the Bhagavatam. That's what I read earlier also, that Lord Chaitanya not only is Radha and Krishna combined, but he's also the walking Bhagavatam. You know, it's just like there's the book Bhagavat and there's the person Bhagavat. So we need both. And the main thing that you do from a devotee association is to hear. Just like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said about our Prabhupada, he said, I have marked him, he likes to hear. And Prabhupada himself said, because one who hears well, they can speak well. So hearing and chanting and remembering Krishna, these are the main things of the ninefold processes of devotional service. Now I was very inspired by Vaisheshika Prabhu, who goes to Govardhan every Kartik and reads with the devotees. He takes that Kartik, just like everybody, according to their different mentalities, does different vrats during Kartik. My mother-in-law was telling me what her mother would do and her grandmother would do, because Kartik is known to be super amplified spiritual opportunity. It's like a window to the spiritual world, right, where extra kripa is coming. So everybody that knows about it, according to their adhikar, they'll do different things. So Vaisheshika Prabhu, what is he? He read the whole Madhya Leela with the devotees. I think they were like, he stacked them up on his desk. Four volumes, I think. Purports and everything, for hours together. And he's been doing this for years. And what did the sages of Naimisharanya do? They made a vow to each other, okay, we will spend 1,000 years together hearing and chanting for the benefit of the future, so that vibration will go to help others. And what did the whole theme of the Bhagavatam, the main story, is that Maharaj Parikshit was cursed to die in 7 days. And he was thinking, okay, what is the best thing a person, what is the best thing I can do when I know I'm about to die? So he went, where did they go on the bank of the Ganga also? Where were they? No, where was the Srimad Bhagavatam spoken? Jamuna? Huh? Oh, Vishaka's Jamuna. Okay, but did anybody find out who the Ganga is? Okay, so he says Jamuna. Any others? Huh? Okay, but what about, where was the Srimad Bhagavatam spoken? By what river? Yeah, right. Okay, well, we got homework. We can all find out and share it with each other. So, what was I talking about anyways? Oh yeah, so Maharaj Parikshit, he went to the bank of some river, and all the holy sages from all over the universe came, and they picked Shukadev Goswami to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. And where did he hear Srimad Bhagavatam? From within the womb, from Vyasadeva, his father, right? The whole point I'm getting at is hearing and chanting. What we're doing right now is the highest, most purifying, most powerful, most intimate way to connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we are honored that I'm given the opportunity to do what Maharaj Parikshit has done. We're honored that just like Prabhupada gave his energy for distributing, for writing these books for all of us. Why? To partake of them. Just like Vaisheshika Prabhu, well, he used to be, is, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books and was very influential in doing a lot of books throughout his devotional career. And one time they were with Prabhupada and Prabhupada asked, yes, but do you read my books? And that's why he has this program of not only since he started, he does the Chad. Who knows what the Chad is? Chapter a day, he does it since he's joined, which is, I don't know, maybe 50 years. Every day read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita, along with his Kartik Vrat of reading for hours together. So, my respects to all of you who are regular attendants, hearing in Srimad Bhagavatam class, and just my message is that, to realize the purifying potency. In what I was trying to say is that when Prabhupada quotes a verse in the purport, then I go and read that verse. Then in that purport, he'll quote another verse. Then I go, it's a very fun thing to do. You can go on for hours. I have a little table, and I had like 6 books. And then I just got, had to do something else. But you can go on forever, and it's very enlivening. Prabhupada will quote another verse in explaining that verse. So this is our life. That hearing and chanting is going on now, and then in the spiritual world it'll continue. Just like there's one book by Shivaram Swami called Venu Gita, and I'll end with this. And it's talking about the Radha and Krishna were in a kunj, having a swing pastime, or sitting together actually. And a bumblebee came in and came by close to Radharani's face. And Krishna thought that it distracted her. So he shooed the bumblebee away, and the bumblebee went out into the bushes. And inside the bushes were different animals, birds and different animals that were having darshan of Radha Kalachandji, but secretively, because they knew this was a private pastime. But in the bushes, the birds were talking about Krishna. The birds were saying, oh, you can't believe, when I was asked to see if the gopis were coming on this side of Govardhan or where they were coming to sell their milk products, because Krishna wanted to play the game of tax collector, I was asked to spy on them and see which way are they coming. And whoa, you can't imagine the beauty of Govardhan from above, the bird was saying. And then other birds were listening and sharing their devotional services and exchanging. Just like Shuka and Shadi, right? Like Shukadev, the whole Bhagavatam Shukadev Goswami is a bird, is a parrot. It's explained. Is not a parrot, is Radharani's chief parrot. And in the spiritual world, Shuka and Shari, the parrots of Krishna, they have spiritual competition with each other. Shari will say, or the bird of Krishna, the parrot of Krishna will say something about Krishna's unlimited spiritual qualities, and then Shuka, the bird of Radharani, will say, well, actually, just like in one of these pastimes, Krishna and Balaram, they decided, while they were going through the forests of Vrindavan, they decided to dance. They got inspired to dance, and then one cowherd boy with his stick drew a line in the sand, and all the cowherd boys got up. They realized, oh, this is making like a natural stage. and Krishna and Balaram were dancing very beautifully and amazingly, and then some of the cowherd boys started to play instruments, and they were wondering, are the musicians playing to the movements of Krishna and Balaram, or is Krishna and Balaram moving to the music of the cowherd boys? And they danced and exhibited so much amazing, beautiful exhibitions of art and skill. And then afterwards, one of the cowherd boys says, "Krishna Balaram ki jai ho!" And then one of the cowherd boys was like, "Is there anybody that can dance more beautifully than our Krishna and Balaram?" And then one of the cowherd boys was like, "Radharani." And then that was the brother, I think, the younger brother of who is Subal, right? Okay. So this, yeah. Sridham, thank you. So this is going on now. We're hearing and chanting, and in the spiritual world, it'll go on. It just gets juicier and juicier. So Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Shmaranam ki jai ho, Ganga Mata ki jai ho, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai ho. Any thoughts, reflections?
We have a question on the chat. Rupanuga Prabhu. He says, some say that Srila Vyasadeva is the itinerary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Others say, as Jai Gauranga Prabhu did this morning, that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation. Which one's correct? Are both correct?
Some say what?
Srila Vyasadeva is the literary incarnation of the Lord, and some say that Srimad Bhagavatam is. Are both correct, or is one incorrect, or?
Both, yeah, both. I would say both. I think Mother Kunti has a Oh, okay. So yeah, we have homework to everybody can.
I was really appreciating your point of that each person's getting out of Srimad Bhagavatam what they're coming in with it, with wanting. I was thinking about how intention is so important. You know, when we chant our japa, we should make sure that we have the intention of set, you know, that we're not just letting our mind wander and stuff. And so we should do that with Srimad Bhagavatam. Not that we just have a checkbox list. First, we should do that if we can't get there, but we should try to go above just checking the box. You know, I went to Srimad Bhagavatam class, check. I did my rounds, check. No, how am I approaching them is so important. It's a good point.
Yeah, like one time my spiritual master, he said, you should distribute the books in such a way that people see your energy or your consciousness, your character. You distribute the books in such a way that they want to become a devotee also, or that they want to read what's in the book because they see, even if it's vibrationally or if it's, you know, they want some of what you got, you know. So it's not that you just get the books out, but the quality of, so the quality of hearing, just like imagine if Shukadev Goswami, imagine if you're writing the week's list, and you have, you know, you're giving class on Monday, Tulsi Saki's giving class on Tuesday, Trishta Jumna's giving class on Wednesday, and Shukadev Goswami will be giving class on Thursday. You know, would it be the same amount of people? Or well, the point is, like, what your intention is going into the class is what you're going to get out of it when you read at home or when you come here. Because we're hearing from, it's like, you know, the opportunity to directly hear from these souls is there when you open the books.
Srila Prabhupada is on the schedule for next Saturday, by the way. Jai. I really appreciate this point too, if I may, is that, you know, we know as speakers that we're not coming up to Sukadev Goswami or Sutta Goswami. We're very clear in that, right? However, as a community, when we come together with the intention of appreciating, serving Bhagavatam and serving the person Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada, and each other, you still get so much nectar out of it. So if you make that intention and go beyond some of the things of, the doubts that, the purification and this. No, this Srimad Bhagavatam is perfect. If we just talk about it, then it does the work.
Yeah,
it's the purifier.
Yeah, like you asked me to give class, I was thinking, you know what, I'm not in good consciousness these days, but I was like, you know what, that's probably the exact medicine I need. If other people get something out of it, good for them. I'm praying that I touch the hearts or so that get some inspiration goes, but if I'm going to get purified, I'm going in for myself right here. I'm taking the medicine. That's what I wanted to also mention was just like Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of the Lord. Also, Prabhupada has said, and if others can do a little homework and find out where he said it and when, that would be cool too. But Prabhupada said, if you want to know me, read my books. I am more in my books than I am in my person. So it's a personal connection. Just like there was one manager, and he told the devotees they were talking about something, and then and then he said, "Oh, I have a meeting right now." And then the devotee said, "Really? Who do you have a meeting with?" He was like, "Srila Prabhupada." And that was his daily time to be with Srila Prabhupada. He would go and read and get his personal connection with Srila Prabhupada.
I heard from Hanumat Prashak Swami, if you read Nectar of Instruction like you were talking about, like if you every verse you go into the next verse, he says you can start to see Srila Prabhupada's process of thinking about Nectar of Instruction. You can go and he says it's just like explodes. So I was really appreciating your point of reading the verse, because you can see the flow of thought about how you get there. And go into Srila Prabhupada's,
It takes time, just like Prabhupada said. How many books do we have?
70?
Yeah, he once asked the devotees, and then they said, so practically I have given you more than you can absorb in one lifetime. So it's just like one time I was thinking, I was having a hard time distributing books. I was trying for hours and nobody took one book. And I was getting dejected. And then I was thinking, I sat down under a tree. I was on a campus somewhere in the States. And I was thinking, what's the whole point of all this? Whole point is to think of Krishna. What I'm trying to ask people is to think of Krishna, right? To always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. The whole point of me engaging in devotional service is, so I was like, okay, let me think of Krishna. Even if it was kind of like making, maybe artificially imposing some pastimes in my mind, I thought, so Krishna, what is Krishna doing right now? And what came to mind was when Krishna goes into as we know, he's Makanchor, he steals the butter. Right? So if he goes into a house and he doesn't find anything to steal, sometimes he'll pass urine in the kitchen and then leave. And I thought that's exactly what happened to me, Nanda Braja. I just started laughing. I was by myself. And I was thinking, okay, this is what Krishna's doing, and I'm taxing my brain. Krishna's just like doing, this mischief and playing around. Then I started to, relish, actually, Krishna consciousness to my small degree. I had another point, but anybody have anything to say? Bapa, say something. Question. I thank my mother-in-law and father-in-law for being here, not only in the Bhagavatam class, but giving us so much of their mercy. Tulsi, say something. This is what I was going to say. Yeah, when I was doing that practice of, I was reading one verse, then another verse. So it took me to Canto 2, Chapter 10, I think. But Prabhupada talks about, you shouldn't just go for a little bit of the Bhagavatam, but you should make a point to read the whole thing. You should don't read a little here, a little there. Although that's good too. It'll get, but you know, so yeah, this was one of the points I was making, is that when, like at a certain time when I was giving that point about thinking of Krishna, I was thinking, how much have I like really absorbed Krishna book? Like at a certain stage, and Prabhupada's writing the books, he knew that he may be leaving soon. So he specifically wrote Krishna book in case he left before he was able to give, you know, the 10th canto, which we know he left in, who knows where he finished writing. 10th canto, chapter 14, I think Brahma Vimohan Leela, and some parts in there. So I was thinking, okay, I'm wanting to be a devotee. How much have I like really absorbed? Here's the book Prabhupada has given, Krishna book, all about Krishna. I have a like it says, you shall know my books like a lawyer knows his law books. What have I read it once, twice, you know, a little here, a little there before going to sleep. We should like, you know, like Prahladananda Swami, what'd he do? He memorized the book. He sits on the Vyasasana and just, he can, you know, tell you Krishna book. He memorized the whole book. That's putting your intelligence to being Krishna conscious. So always think of me, never forget me. So Prabhupada, what did he do? He organized the whole movement. He started unlimited temples. He started schools and farm communities and restaurants and initiated thousands of people, all after being 70 years old. At the same time doing all this, he would wake up in the middle of the night and then translate the books for all of us. So what can we do? Reciprocate. Read them. Absorb them. Memorize them. Distribute them. Jai. Yeah, right? Jai, Jai. Thank you, Prabhupada.
And thank you, Prabhu, for reminding us to read, to hear, to chant. And I was really appreciating the point that what can we do? We can simply read, and you know that puts the vibration in the ether. So if we ever worry, what can I do? Let's just hear, read, and chant, and then that vibration is there that we're passing forward to everyone. So thank you.
Yeah, it's just like Nanda Braja was saying that what we may not, obviously we're not on the level of Shukadev Goswami, but what do? We repeat what we've heard. And that's what, and according to our assimilation and realization, then it has potency. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Kartik Masa ki, Go Premanandi.